Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm here with another episode of the hashtag Little Bits of Lace 2024 hosted by Cori Dahmen. And I am working on using up some more of my Little Bits of Lace and also working on my envelope flip journal, which I'm using for the Little Bits of Lace. And so today I was working on a little like tag or journal card to slip into my journal, and I thought I've already started on it. I did have some paper from Hobby Lobby paper pad. I did put it onto some tea-dyed paper. I added a My Porch Prints digital on the back side, and I have some sewed around the edges of this one and inked them using the Distress Ink Victorian Velvet. Again, another image from My Porch Prints, and this one I did glue down the eyelash trim on the back along with sewing around the edges. I also picked out for my stash this Little Bits of Lace, and today I wanted to try something new after I get this assembled, and I don't know if it's going to work out or not, but I figured I could bring you guys along and we'll try it out together, I guess. I'm sure it's been done. I just don't know if I've seen it per se. And I just want to really use up some of those little scrappy bits, or at least have an idea to see if this works for saving like those offcuts of even your smaller scraps and adding them as a page topper, or maybe a tag topper or a journal card topper, which is what we'll try today. So I'm going to glue this down real quick, and then I'll show you guys what I'm thinking about doing here. And I'll have to go run to my sewing machine, but while I was thinking about it, it's just one of those things that kind of popped in my head as I was looking through my lace, my extra bit, lace bits bin, just to see if I had something that I could use for another project I was working on. And then I thought about this idea, so I thought, well, I better try it out. And then I do want to glue this down on top here, but I don't know. I think I'm going to have to switch to my Fabri-Tac, because I'm not sure if and I'm not even sure if this one's going to hold. I probably should have sewed it directly onto the tag here, but I'll just come back and glue it down if I have to. But I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. I do have this little rose image, and this came off of a bigger piece of lace that I've had in my stash for a while. I believe it came from Kim's shop, which is Angel Dreams Crafts Kim on Etsy. And when I was on her design team, I think I used this lace trim on, I want to say it was a pumpkin that I made. I made those fabric pumpkins, and then I glued down lace around the top, but I had little bits left over of the lace. And this happens to be one of them. I did trim it because there was other pieces sticking off from it, so I did trim it down. But I thought this might be kind of pretty on top of this tag. So there's my tag base, and then I also have a paper strip that I want to try this too, because I'm thinking if this works, then I could just glue it down directly on top of a page in my journal. But so for this one, I did choose another piece of scrap paper. I did already ink the edges on this, so if this works out, I'm gonna glue it to the top here when I'm done. But if it doesn't work out, then I haven't ruined my whole tag. So what I was thinking of doing is just, like I said, taking these like leftover bits that I'm not sure I'm going to use for anything else, and I want to just have them like sticking straight up, so my little scrappy book bits just being kind of on the top. So I might, go like that, and maybe in the background I do have some of this like tulle, this netting tulle, and I think I want that behind all of this. So I'm going to cut this down just to use some of that. I have a lot of this little bits hanging out in my lace pile here, so I might put this down first, and then I can always trim it. But I'm thinking if I go something like this, and I just kind of glue, not glue, I suppose you could glue, but I'm going to run it through my sewing machine. do little bits that are left over from, like I said, other projects, and just kind of just seeing. I have a big pile here that I took out. I'm wondering if anything on this one would work. That might look kind of nice. This is a really pretty piece of lace. So maybe we can, almost seems too big. Maybe I can cut it down maybe in half and just put half of it there. Let's see, what else do I have that's, I have a little bit of this trim. So maybe I'll add that behind here. See what else. I have another piece of that lace from a curtain, so maybe we'll add that behind here. Oh, and I have this pretty little, you know, remnant left over from something. So maybe we'll put that behind this stuff. You know, that seems like that might work. It seems a little messy though, so I don't know. Wasn't really kind of what I had in mind for the top of the tag, but maybe let's just transfer it to a paper strip. Okay, let's just try that again. I'm not so sure. I had this idea in my head, and maybe it's just not the laces I was thinking about. Because like I don't think that looks you know, just this on the top. Maybe I just had too much. Maybe if I just did, let me just look at it if I were to sew directly on. Maybe I just had too much. Let's cut this. This is like a leftover bit. Let me just cut this one in half. Just see what. Because I like to kind of show you, I have a vision in my head, but I just maybe don't have the right scrap bits left over. But let's try this anyways, because I would really like to make this work. So like if I go like that. You know, maybe something that, like, kind of like that's what I had envisioned. So maybe the first time around I just thought about the wrong type of trim. So, so yeah, I think I'm gonna just sew this down directly on the top. I do like, kind of like that, but I could, like I said, easily just glue it onto this too. Yeah, I'll just sew it onto this scrap, and so I will be back after I've done that, and we can see how it looks on the top of here before I glue it down. So I did finish sewing down the little scrappy bits, and I do have to say I do like that better than what I originally thought I was going to. I'm just going to trim off this netting that's hanging off the sides. And I think that would make kind of a nice little scrappy bits topper, but I think for my taste, I would like it to look a little bit more finished. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down this piece across the top, and then I might actually add a little bit of eyelash trim underneath it. And I think I'll like it a little bit better once it looks a little more finished off, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. I also did, while I was at my sewing machine, I also did that paper strip, so I'll show you guys that in a second here. And that turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to also. So I will probably continue to use this technique in some of my different journals. I just think maybe how I originally chose my laces, I liked it better when I folded them up a little bit, and they still were, you know, kind of scrappy bits that were left. So so we'll add this one right here to kind of finish this one off, just to have a, you know, a little bit nicer looking. And of course I forgot to glue down my eyelash trim. I'll see if I can still get that glued down or not. Yep, we'll try that again. Yeah, I think I like that. That looks a lot more finished, I guess. And then the other thing I might do is this one seems to be quite a bit longer than the rest, so I'm just going to trim that one off a little bit. So that's what that little topper looks like. And I really like that. It's kind of cute. I mean, you could almost add that to almost anything in your journal. So I'm going to glue that one down at the top. So, you know, I'm calling these like scrappy bits. Page top, you know, page edgers, page toppers, tag toppers, journal toppers, whatever you want to call it, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead, and this would be kind of something I think would be good, like you could just sit down at your sewing machine, take all your leftover scrappy bits and just do that across the top of, you know, some scrap paper strips, and then you'd have them to go add on to your projects later on. So there's that tag. I think that's really cute. And then I wanted to show you this one that I did real quick. I'm not going to glue it down on anything, but here is that paper strip that I did. And again, I just did a zigzag stitch down the middle, and I just folded over all those different leftover bits of lace. Some of them, like this one, was just an edge that I cut off of a lace. These ones were definite scraps, these little pieces. And so I just glued those down, and I was just going to show you, like I did pull out a piece of paper here, just to show you how cute that would look if you glued it down on an edge of a page. You know, obviously I would cut it off here, and then I would still have that little bit left to add to something else. And again, I would opt to finish it off or give it more of a finished look, and I would do that by adding, I have like this pretty trim right here that I would add, you know, on top of it, or a trim like I did here. So I think that would be really pretty. And again, you could do this, you could mass produce it, and you could even cut it in half and then do it on like the top of your journal page, or on the bottom if you wanted it hanging off of the bottom of your page. So I think there's lots of different possibilities for these little scrappy bits. So again, I just wanted to thank everybody so much for watching today, and thank you for letting me play a little bit. I hadn't done that technique ever before, so thank you again, ladies, and until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.